Welcome to Across the Pond Review, where we review anything and everything about the Premier League. And this week's going to be a little different. Because of the fact that there are no Premier League fixtures, we're going to be talking about international football and transfer rumors. I'm your co-host, Owen G, and to the left of me, one of my best mates, Lewis. Lewis, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty well. Kind of excited for the international break. Lots of good matches coming up, so I'm excited to see what these national teams have in store for us. But let's get started on those transfer rumors. A lot of interesting ones out there. Great
idea. You know, after Man United's FA Cup match at the weekend, what stood out to me most wasn't just the match, but the press conference afterwards, where Mourinho once again publicly criticized Luke Shaw's performance. You know, he flat out said that he didn't like his performance, that he played bad, took him off at halftime, and also mentioned that every single time they attacked Luke Shaw's area, Manchester United's defense was in harm. What did you think about those comments?
Well, I think Mourinho has used this tactic previously at other clubs. And, I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I second that.
Because, one, you're demoralizing your player. A lot of players, I feel like he's doing it to get a reaction out of the player, but a lot of players will take that to heart, or they're too sensitive and they'll actually underperform.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think it's the best tactic. I'm not going to say it hasn't worked for him in the past, but I don't think it's a good way to get the dressing room on your side either, openly criticizing players like that in front of the media.
Yeah, I thought the same. You know, we've seen this from Mourinho before. When he was at Real Madrid, he benched Iker Casillas and put Adan in, somebody who was definitely didn't deserve to be playing at the Madrid level. Benched Iker. Then he went to Chelsea. He benched Juan Mata, ended up selling him, publicly criticized him as well on a number of occasions. Went to Manchester United, told Rooney to pack his bags, and now we're seeing that he's doing this with Luke Shaw. My main question is, Luke Shaw's a great left back. Horrible injury 2 years ago, but he's steadily coming back. Do you see him at one of the top clubs, at Arsenal, at Chelsea, Tottenham? Do you see him outside of the Premier League? What are your thoughts on that?
I think based on his Premier League experience, he may be able to make it at, I would say, a mid-table Premier League team. Maybe get back on his feet and maybe even find his way back into the England squad.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, for sure, I remember seeing him debut for Southampton in the Premier League a couple years ago, and he was phenomenal. You know, I thought that he was going to be England's left back for years and years to come, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing him at this year's World Cup.
Yeah, I think he was a little unlucky with the injury. He obviously wasn't the same player after he returned from the injury, so I think he's definitely one to look out for in the future. But for now, I think he should look at his options outside of United.
Yeah. Now let's move along, you know, and we're going to talk about my boys, because they made a stellar bid today for one of the best strikers in the world. Definitely the best striker in Italy, in my opinion, right now. Icardi. Chelsea bid 55 million euros, equivalent to $67 million for Icardi. You know, we're struggling with Giroud, we're struggling with Morata, even though I personally like Giroud more than I do Morata. And we've got Michy Batshuayi out on loan, who's playing phenomenal for Dortmund.
Form of his life.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Should we be bidding for Icardi or not?
Well, obviously Chelsea does need a striker, I feel like, and they would definitely benefit from maybe a tactical change in their system. I think we were talking about it before, but I don't like the whole one striker. It doesn't work. And if you watch Michy Batshuayi play, even Mauro Icardi at Inter, they strive off of good link-up play. They're not forwards who are going to hold the ball up for you. They're very mobile, and they like making those passes in between the lines also. They like linking up with the midfielders a lot. So I think it's a good move for Chelsea, but I think Conte would definitely have to change the system.
Yeah, If Conte's there next year, it's still up in the air if he's going to be there or not. I would definitely maybe like to see a 4-3-3. I would like to go with Michy Batshuayi. Obviously, he's been playing well in Germany. It's a tough league. Lewandowski is the best forward in the world, and he plays there.
Michy's a big man, and he's also mobile, though.
Yeah.
And the last couple of goals he scored have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Outside the box, flicks. Like, the man's good on set pieces. He can get up and head the ball.
Yeah.
He seems like a very complete striker to me.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Honestly, I think you always have to have more than one striker on your squad, or even more than two, pardon. So if we can make a deal where we send Morata to Inter and bring Icardi, and we have Icardi, Michy Batshuayi, and Giroud, 3 options, I think that's going to be great, and we can move forward, we can grow, and we can perform well in the Premier League next year. The big man, King Zlatan, he's done. Terminated his contract today. And rumors say that he's off to LA. Would you like to see him in the MLS? I mean, we could go and we could buy tickets and go see Zlatan.
Is it Zlatan going to the MLS, or is the MLS going to Zlatan?
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask Zlatan, it's the MLS going to Zlatan.
Yeah, like, it's just... I think that's exciting for MLS.
It's very exciting. For me, we're getting him at 36, 35. He's going to be 36. But, I'm still going to pay the money to go see him. I'll pay those $80 to go.
Last season, they said, this 34-year-old player isn't going to make it in the Premier League. He's not at the pace. What did he score? 20 goals?
28.
28 goals.
Yeah, 28 goals and won the Community Shield, scored in the Community Shield, and then scored in the EFL Cup final against Southampton.
Those seem like pretty decent numbers for the past year. So
yeah, I think if he stays healthy, he could be in the MLS till he's like 40.
Yeah, I think a player of his caliber, his physical capacity, he could definitely play at a decent level in the MLS. I mean, look at David Villa.
Yeah, David Villa has been playing well, and it's been a number of years. Now we have to move on to some international news. And I think we have to start with this one because this seems to be the biggest one of the day. Sampaoli said that he could leave Dybala and Icardi at home. He's not going to take them to Russia. There's a chance that he won't. And when he said that, I automatically thought about 2010. I thought about Maradona leaving Diego Milito and Cambiaso at home after they had just come off a stellar season with Inter where they won the Champions League. Milito was the best Argentine forward of that season, of that year. And for him not to go to the World Cup was pretty shocking. And then they went out 4-0 against the Germans. What do you think about him saying that he could leave Dybala and Icardi, 2 players who are in great form, one playing for Juve, one playing for Inter, at home for Russia? What are your thoughts on that?
That's tough. That's definitely not a position too many coaches in world football or managers per se are going to be in, because Argentina are spoiled with riches, like in every position, basically, except for goalkeeper and maybe a couple defenders.
Yeah, well, I to be honest with you, I don't know why Sergio Romero even gets in. Willy Caballero is miles ahead of him. Sergio Romero barely plays for Manchester United, but he's always there, starting keeper for Argentina. Yeah. But that's another topic. Going back to Dybala and Icardi.
That's a tough one for me, because Sampaoli already said openly to the press publicly that Dybala can't play with Messi.
That's a good point.
So you're already basically ruling out Dybala, and now you're saying Icardi's not going to fit into the system. I think he basically also said today that the team revolves around Messi. Like, every player that steps on that field has to have a certain type of link-up play with Messi, far or short.
That's incredible. I've never seen a manager come out and publicly say that. You were comparing it before to Ronaldo in Portugal. We all know the team revolves around Ronaldo, but you'll never catch their manager coming out and saying that. And they didn't play, like you said before, Ronaldo got hurt maybe the first 15 minutes of the Euro final. They bounced back and they won.
Yeah, no, we were discussing it before this episode, and I mean, I think my thing with Portugal is that it's kind of the same deal. Ronaldo is the focal point of the Seleção of Portugal.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna make everything about him. Like I said, in the final, he got injured. He didn't play. The team responded. Would Argentina do the same without Messi?
It'll be tough. And we'll find out this summer.
We'll find out this summer. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured. I'd like to see Messi do well in the World Cup.
I wouldn't. But now we're going to talk about the Three Lions. And Southgate came out today and he said he's given Jordan Pickford the green light to play against Netherlands tomorrow. He's going to start.
I mean, that's not my pick for starting goalkeeper for England, but I mean, Pickford is young. He's shown he can hang in there in the Premier League. Out of all the keepers, I do think he has the best distribution. So maybe that's one of the deciding factors for having him play this game. Because you know Southgate likes to play a certain way out of the back. Hence why he picks the defenders he does. He hasn't even considered Chris Smalling yet, I think.
No, I don't think so.
He says Chris Smalling doesn't fit the qualities he looks for in a center back to be able to play out of the back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's a solid choice, but I still like Nick Pope.
Yeah, same. I was watching them train online, and Nick Pope to me seemed like he was the most solid out of all of them. Jordan Pickford did well. Joe Hart was the worst out of the four. But for me, Southgate, if I were to give him advice, rotational system is a bad idea. I think you're in trouble if you're rotating your keepers this far, this close to the World Cup. If he's going with Pickford's got to start the rest of the friendlies. If he's going to go give Pickford this game, give Nick Pope the next game, then he's got to decide which two. Because the defense has to adjust to what keeper. Yeah, or if he gives Butland, but you can't. He's got 4 keepers. He called 4 keepers up to the national team this week, and I don't understand that. I think he's got to pick one, and you've got to play the rest of these friendlies with one keeper so the defense can adjust to him, can get it comfortable with him, and you can go into a tournament. You cannot go into this World Cup without knowing who England's number 1 is. It's going to be tough if they do.
Southgate, players' current form matters a lot to him.
Yeah, that's what he's been saying.
So, I don't know. If we went on form, it would have to be Nick Pope.
Yeah.
So, right now, I think it's between Pickford and Pope. I would like to see both of them in the friendlies, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think whoever does the better job in these 2 friendlies will probably get the job for the World Cup.
Yeah. And because if they enter the World Cup without knowing, if the keepers don't know who's going to be number 1, it's not going to be a good tournament for England.
Yeah.
It's not.
Especially with all the goalkeeping woes they've had in
you talk
past
about
World Cups.
Seaman in 2002 against Brazil. Mm-hmm. Robert Green, Joe Hart against Iceland. It's the keeper curse for England. So they need to decide now, and they need to get him comfortable. And they need to get everything straight out.
Didn't he have a little goalkeeping mishap against the mighty red, white, and blue who's not at this World Cup?
Yeah, unfortunately, our national team as well, we're not gonna be there. Now it's time to talk about the games that you guys have to see tomorrow. First, we have Germany versus Spain, and that's gonna be at 3:45 on ESPN3. Then we have Italy versus Argentina, which is gonna be at the same time, and that's gonna be on Being Sports. France versus Colombia starts at 4, and that's going to be on ESPN Deportes. Portugal versus Egypt, you might be able to find that online, Tarjeta Roja, or whatever that website's called. Check it out. Mexico plays Ireland at 10 o'clock, which will be good for all my supporters of El Tri. Costa Rica plays Scotland. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because my boy's from Sarchi. And that'll be on ESPN Deportes later on tonight, later on Friday night. Also, catch England versus Belgium, 3:45. Unfortunately, we don't have that. They're not going to show it on TV, so you're going to have to go on Tarjeta Roja again to watch that.
Tarjeta Roja. It's not Tarjeta Roja.
What is it then? Roja Directa. There you go. Sorry, guys. All right, and now we did get comments from last week. Please comment on the video, and we're going to read them out. So last week, we were talking about Chelsea versus Barcelona. Yan23 and Nicole Buns say, fuck Barcelona. Sorry for my language, but I second that. I triple that. I quadruple that. F Barcelona, F Messi. And Chris Araya says, good stuff. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, guys. We definitely appreciate the feedback and support.
And, you know, the Champions League draws came out, so we asked the ATP lads on Instagram. Follow our Instagram. It's going to come up right here. Who would win? City versus Liverpool. You know, and you might be a little distraught when you hear the results of this, but 56% were in favor of City, while only 44% were in favor of Liverpool. They don't have that much faith in Salah.
And it's a shame to hear that only 44% of our viewers have logical football.
I'll be honest, I was one of the 56% that said Pep Boys. But then we asked Madrid versus Juventus, and this was a little more lopsided. 59% said that Madrid are going to go through, while 41% asked for Juve. And then we left it up to the ATP lads. We said, who's England's number one going to be at this summer's World Cup? 100% said that they would start with Jack Butland. So the ATP lads had their say. And I think that's how we're going to wrap up this week's video. So thank you guys for watching. And before we finish, I want to say a big congratulations to my best mate, Lewis, for signing with his team, NJ Teamsters, correct? Yep. So he's going to be playing at a high level. You know, he's been training for years. I've met him when we were about 16, 17. He's a decent player, but through hard work, a lot of determination, he's become a phenomenal player. I want to say congratulations.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Good job, buddy. Good
Definitely hope to catch you at some of the games,
Of course you will. Of course you will. And hopefully we'll catch you, ATP lads, next week and at some of his games. So thank you, and watch and comment, and we'll read them out next week.
Have a good one, guys.